CBS News, I'm Jeff Gilbert outside General Motors' big Cadillac plant in Detroit. General Motors workers within the hour walking out and driving out of this plant and many others across the country. This strike occurring more than a week after the first deadline.
These people come to work every day.
Ford CEO Alan Mulally racing into the Senate office building after he pulled up in his Escape hybrid. GM CEO Rick Wagner arriving in a prototype of the Chevy Volt electric car.
I think it's very important for the U.S. to have a home team in this global auto industry.
CBS News. I'm Jeff Gilbert in Detroit, where there is a general sense of shock at the Obama administration's rejection of the GM and Chrysler viability plans and the government-forced ouster of GM CEO Rick Wagner.
He's been made a scapegoat.
This is a WWJ News Special, The Road to the New General Motors. A look back at this historic day in the automobile industry and a look ahead to what the future holds. Now, here's WWJ Autobeat reporter Jeff Gilbert.
And something that many had thought unthinkable happened today. General Motors, once the world's largest company, files for bankruptcy.
This is not the end of General Motors, but the start of a new and better chapter.
I will not pretend
get into a
the hard
cab
times
here
are
in
over.
Shanghai and leave all hope behind.
Don't look outside.
That's my host saying, don't look outside. Don't look for a seatbelt either. There isn't one. Airbag? You're lucky you have air with the lingering smell of cigarette smoke in this vehicle. Then there's the driving. Use of horn is mandatory, but stoplights appear to be optional. Can a Vietnamese car maker make inroads in the global market? This is Jeff Gilbert with the Car Chronicles. Today from the Paris Auto Show, Vietnam's VinFast is showing an upscaling. EVs have become a big deal in Europe. This is Jeff Gilbert with the Car Chronicles. Today from the Frankfurt Auto Show, European car makers used to turn to diesels to get better electric vehicles rule here in Munich, with the German brands leading the way.
This is the KNX Business Hour.
Joining us now from Detroit, Jeff Gilbert from our great CBS sister station WWJ in Detroit. Jeff, what's causing this meltdown in Motown today?
Concerned about where the auto industry is going to go.
Jeff Gilbert is CBS's auto industry analyst, joins us from Detroit. He's a regular on KMOX. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, but I don't have any stock in any major auto company.
From KYW 1060 Philadelphia, the Delaware Valley's news authority. This is Reporters Roundup.
Joining us on Reporters Roundup Live, our correspondent from Detroit, Jeff Gilbert. Jeff, good to have you on Roundup. Some figures just out from Ford, and they are not good at all.
No, Ford sales are down about 28%.
Breaking news now on WWJ.
And we are continuing to follow breaking news in the WWJ newsroom this morning. From California to Michigan, UAW President Shawn Fain announced that 38 General Motors and Stellantis locations across the country will join strikes against Detroit's Big Three. WWJ's Jeff Gilbert joining us live with the latest details. Jeff.
And, Jackie, this takes it directly to the consumer. They are targeting parts operations, the operations that send parts to dealerships. And Fain says they are only targeting Stellantis
Let's go
and
live
GM.
to our Autobeat reporter, Jeff Gilbert. Jeff.
Yeah, the president's spending about 15 minutes outside the GM Willow Run Parts Distribution Center on Ecorse Road in Belleville. He spoke briefly through a bullhorn. It's a little hard to hear, but we have amplified it.
You guys, UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008.
It is a hell. After life, we're here. We live hell. This is hell.
I'm on a mountaintop in a very remote area of western Pennsylvania where this flight went down. And FBI Special Agent Jeff Killeen says they're really just beginning this whole process.
We're treating this as a crime scene.
I'm looking at the Pentagon right now. I'm looking at one side of this five-sided building. Right in the middle of this side, all 5 floors have collapsed one on top of each other. And about 100, 200 yards on either side of this, there are singe marks outside the window. As I look down New York 6th Avenue, I see nothing but smoke where the World Trade Center once stood. What Patrick Dolan saw there was a war zone. The construction workers spent all night volunteering, trying to find somebody alive in the debris.
The members of the various police agencies are slowly combing through what's left of the wreckage, putting personal belongings into oversized paper bags. Those belongings litter the east side of Middle Belt Road. There are suitcases, shoes, and everything just scattered all over the road. In fact, you can see where the plane impacted on the side of the hill, the east side of the hill, scorching the grass. A billboard is now only a charred reminder of what it once was.
This is a WCXI Assignment 89 special, Detroit's Arms Race.
You need a gun to walk the streets nowadays.
Like I said, which will protect you best, 911 or a 38? We cannot get police protection in this city.
Right, listen up. You have the right to remain silent.
I relate the gun situation directly to the drug situation. And the drug situation in this country is out of control.
Freeze right there! All news all the time. News Radio 95. WWJ.
And just a few blocks away, the flames were crackling just off of Interstate 94. 3 occupied houses burned, wiping out 22-year-old Linda Manns.
The Marine Band plays Hail to the Chief, and the 21-gun salute echoes across the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol, where hundreds of thousands of people have just heard William Jefferson Clinton take the oath of office and become the 42nd President of the United States. People are standing.
Jeff Gilbert covers the auto industry for WWJ News Radio out of Detroit, joining us now to talk about the latest when it comes to that tentative deal with the United Auto Workers strike and also what it could mean for the future of electric vehicles. Mr. Gilbert, welcome back to the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
On your webpage there, it talks about this deal, your story concerning those things. Could you talk about the factors that led to the resolve of it?
Well, the resolution of it, I mean, it was a long strike, but it was an interesting strike because it didn't involve every auto plant, but it was spread out among the 3 car makers.
It has been a challenging few years for the auto industry, but those who live it say it's coming around.
Things are certainly a lot better than they were a year ago.
CBS News automotive correspondent Jeff Gilbert says the manufacturers aren't motivated to return to jammed car lots.
Because they don't have to put as big a discount on there. Dealers don't have to stock as many vehicles. So they've made some changes because of that. When it comes to a Jeep Wrangler, it's all about capability. The ability to do those things that, quite frankly, you didn't realize you could do. Jeep taking us to Utah to do a little rock climbing and a lot of off-roading. Chevy bringing us to sunny Southern California to learn about and get the first chance to drive the Blazer EV. What the Blazer EV is for Chevrolet is it's something that puts them really in the heart of the mass market of SUVs with an electric entry. It's not as sleek as a Tesla or as upscale as a Lucid sedan or in your face like a Rivian. But Canoo is forging its own path among EV startups.
We'll bring in WWJ News Radio 950 Auto Beat reporter Jeff Gilbert.
Morning.
Good morning, Jeff. We know you're live in Munich. And first of all, what are we seeing in the ways of cars and tech that we could see here in Detroit and in the U.S.?
Yeah, I'm in the area they call the Marienplatz, and right behind me is a mobility stage because this auto show here in Munich is actually called Mobility. It's about new forms of transportation.
4 vehicles from Volkswagen's historic collection. To enjoy them, you really need to get into a 60s frame of mind. Let's start with this 64 Beetle Max. They don't make them like this anymore. Prefer not to drive them on the freeway. That's why it arrived at my house in a truck. This engine puts out a whopping 40 horsepower. Now, I was in a lot of Beetles as a kid, and I may have remembered them a bit too fondly.
You know that new car smell that people talk about? Well, this has that old car smell I actually remember from my childhood. And these are comfy seats. Kind of squeak a bit for somebody with my extra large frame, but you know, they do the job.
Let's turn on the air.